Happy Saturday, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a bit of a short one, but I just wanted to check in and let you guys know how my second week of family medicine went and some of the things that I have been feeling. So now that my first week is over, I am now able to see patients on my own and present them to the doctor without having to shadow any of the other students, since I have a better idea of what I'm doing, and also am able to get a good history, more so than I was in the first week, because when you're green and brand new out in the clinical world, you don't really know what you're doing right away. And of course, when I say I see patients on my own, that just means that I don't go in with another student before the doctor sees them, so I get the full history and then I present to the doctor on my own, but the doctor does, you know, the real stuff and sees the patient and everything and prescribes them the medication. So just to make that clear. And so something that was different this week compared to my first week was that I was able to give a B12 injection. I was able to observe an EKG, relearn how that all works. I definitely still have to review that a little bit more. I got to learn a bit more about how the referral process works for when someone needs to get a referral for some type of screening test, like a mammogram or an ultrasound, anything like that. And with practice, of course, I've been getting better at writing my soap notes and charting everything into the electronic system. But something I really wanted to talk about this week to you guys was something called Impostor Syndrome, and I know that a lot of you have heard of this. Some of you may hear it and think, what the heck is that? I have no idea. But for those of you who don't know, Impostor Syndrome is essentially how it sounds, and it's a set of feelings that makes you feel like you are an imposter and you shouldn't be working wherever you're working or doing whatever you're doing because you don't have the credits or the value or the qualities required in order to complete the job that you're supposed to do. And if you're in the medical community, I am sure you have experienced this at some point in your life or another, and now you can finally put a name to it because it's a very real thing and you can look it up and see all the information about it, and it's pretty straightforward, but it kind of sucks. And I've talked to students in medicine and outside of medicine. I've talked to people who are in residencies, and I've talked to people who are practicing doctors and nurse practitioners who've been practicing in their field for years and years and years, or decades and decades and decades, and sometimes still feel like they shouldn't be working doing what they're doing because they aren't good enough. Another common thread to this syndrome is going on feeling like you're doing your job, but that you are a fraud, and that one day somehow someone's gonna find out that you shouldn't be doing your job, or that you're not qualified to be where you are, or that you're not able to do everything that you're supposed to do. And I have definitely felt this over the course of the last couple of years, especially as I studied for step 1. But now that I started my clinical rotations, I have been feeling that a lot more than I normally do, and it is really lame. The great thing about clinicals is that you are new and you get to learn, and you learn so much every day because you have hands-on experience seeing patients and interacting with real physicians and people who have been doing this for years and years and years, decades and decades and decades, and you get to see how your life is going to be essentially when you one day are a doctor. But the downside of that is that every day you're seeing so many new things and learning so many new things that it is difficult to stay on top of it, and you get behind, and it's frustrating because you also remember all of the things that you don't know and all of the things you haven't learned, and it's really easy to focus on the negative side of it all and dwell on the fact that you know so little. And that's pretty much how I've been feeling this week. I didn't film any special videos for you with any really informative content, and I didn't vlog at all this week because I've just been feeling kind of exhausted, and I've been feeling a little bit down, and I haven't really been feeling like myself. And I think part of that is because I studied for so long for step 1, and I had such a rigid routine and schedule for over a year, and it was habit. And when things are habit, you don't have to think about doing them. And I also was sitting on good UWorld scores for quite a few months, and so I hadn't really had that feeling of, oh crap, I don't know anything, in a long time. And it also hasn't been difficult for me to sit down and study without getting distracted because I had been in a habit and a routine of doing things a certain way for so long. And then I took all this time off after step 1 because it took a while to get my rotations lined up so that I could start, and I had a break, and that threw off my routine, and I don't need to be studying 8 hours a day for step 1 anymore. I need to focus on clinic and shelves and step 2 studying and stuff like that. So everything is just out of whack, and it has kind of thrown me a little bit. And also getting back into doing Q&A questions is a little discouraging because I'm back on a lower scale of percentage scores because, again, I'm being tested on things that I haven't learned yet. And I know that that's perfectly normal, and the logical part of my brain is telling me don't stress about that, you're new, you don't need to worry about that, just keep studying and do the work and you'll learn and you'll get better over time. And I know this, but it has been difficult for me to think logically lately. I've just been feeling kind of overwhelmed and stressed, and I know that I'll get over it and that I'll be able to get back into my routine once I figure it out and kind of get into the rhythm of clinic and how this is all going to work. But for now, I've just been feeling kind of down and not myself, and I think part of that is just because it's just a whole different swing of things and a different way of doing things and learning things. And because there's so much I don't know again and there's so much for me to learn, that feeling like I'm an imposter and that I shouldn't be here is kind of creeping back into my mind a lot more than it used to, because I just feel like there's so much I don't know, and I don't, and it's okay to be inadequate because I'm still missing 2 years of training and 2 years of experience because this was my first clinical rotation, so that's normal. But that thought has been creeping into my mind a lot this week, and I just want to put it out there because it actually has been quite therapeutic to talk about this all out loud, and I think maybe some of you would benefit from hearing that. And if you're feeling like this or you have major imposter syndrome, it's good to talk about it with other people, because most likely people will see you for who you really are and the skills that you do have and remind you that you are qualified to be where you are. No one knows 100% of the information, and no one is going to come up to you and tell you that you're a fraud. I mean, unless somehow this is like a suit scenario and you cheated your way into med school, then you probably are a fraud and probably shouldn't be practicing medicine. But it's good to talk about your insecurities with people because it also helps other people to realize that their insecurities are validated, and everyone has issues with their confidence, especially when it comes to medical knowledge and where you're feeling in your academics. And no one wants to be surrounded by a bunch of students who claim to be flawless and know everything and think they're going to be the best doctors. Because once you start thinking that way and once you start acting that way, you stop forcing yourself to learn, and as doctors we always need to be learning. So that's pretty much all I want to say today. I didn't have anything particularly informative to put up, but I wanted to let you guys know how I was feeling, and hopefully my insecurities will help you feel a little bit better about yours and know that it's totally normal to not feel like a genius when you're in medical school and that everyone has been there. And if you guys want me to make a video about anything in particular, please comment down below and I will definitely try and put something up that you guys actually want to see. Otherwise, I'll just keep doing my own thing and posting vlogs and informative videos of things that I think might be useful for you guys. But that's it. I will see you guys next Saturday, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.